Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Apare amitastu anyam prakriti viddhi me param जीवभूता महाबाहो ययेदम धार्यते जगः. Besides this inferior nature of mighty Arjuna, there is a superior energy of mind, which are all the living entities are struggling in the metal nature and are sustaining the universe. So various important things here. Yesterday what we discussed was Bhumi Apo Anulo Vayu Kam Mano Buddhi Evacha Ahankar Itiyam Me Bhinna Prakriti Ashtatha. Correct? This shloka very important. We should all remember that the complete total metal energy can be divided into 8, and we discuss how do we divide this 8. Today we will not go into that. Now Krishna is saying apara. Apara means inferior. Aparaste tu anyam. Aparas itastu anyam. Apara means is inferior. But beyond this inferior, aparas itastu anyam prakritim vidhi me param. There is one more energy of mind which is param. Param means superior. Param means superior. Apara means inferior. Correct? Paropkar. We say no? You do a good work means paropkar. Savai pumsa paro dharma. Topmost dharma. Transcendental. Paramatma. Paramatma. Para. Now he says beyond this inferior metal energy, why it is inferior, it's easy to understand. Prabhupada explained in the purport of the first shloka of the first canto of the Bhagavatam. He says, suppose I am observing, I am an observer, and I see two things in front of me. Something is conscious and something is not conscious. Definitely something is conscious is higher than something not conscious. Correct? Suppose the ball is rolling on the ground and I put my finger. The ball will just come and hit it. But if suppose the ant is coming, you put your finger, the ant will try to go this way. So okay, go. It's a different thing altogether. So always a conscious living entity is much higher than the dead. This is easy to understand. It has no meaning. Any dead structure has no meaning. Life has meaning. Jiva bhuta mahabhavo yayedam jhare jagat. Okay. Today I'll just develop on something. Was saying that I'll come back. Something very interesting. Somebody was saying that we thought the Google was meant for information. They studied what do generally people look for. Nobody hardly looks for any information. They go to the internet actually to connect. They want to connect to people. People are actually looking for relationships. True? That's why mostly popular are the social networking sites. Why they are so popular? People are not so much spending time there learning about what this kartal is made up of. They may be, that's for 5 minutes, 10 minutes sometime, when they are forced to do it. But generally, they are looking to connect. The nature of the living entity is that he wants to connect to other living entities. And there is no connection for it as good as a connection to the Supreme Lord. We can see by their weakness. People spend so much time trying to make 100 friends, 500 friends, 5,000 friends, 10,000 friends. They have a limit in Facebook, 5,000. I also crossed it a long time ago. So many friends you want to make. You want to connect to so many people. Somebody writes to you something, how are you? You feel so happy. Correct? You want to connect. The nature of the living entity is to connect with other living entities. And there is no connection other than connection to Supreme Lord. Why? Because apara, that information that I can connect to a living entity is much more interesting than I can connect to a stone. What does that have to do with it? It's a dead boring. Correct? Stone is dead and information about that is dead boring. True or not? Sometimes the teachers you find struggle to keep the students attentive because they don't connect to them in relationships. Information is very boring. And they like to then connect to each other. If they cannot connect to us, then they like to connect to each other, which is gossiping. They start talking. What are they talking? Basically, they're connecting to each other. Correct? Living entity cannot live without connection. True, if somebody is connected to the Supreme Lord, he can sit peacefully in Samadhi. But he is connected to the Supreme Lord. All the happiness living entity has is in connection. When it connects to another living entity, we get some happiness. So most of the teachers, when they are not able to connect to the classroom and develop a relationship, true, we cannot blame the teachers because it is both ways. He should also be interested. We are not come for some family relation there. The purpose of connection is to give him some knowledge, correct? If he is not interested in knowledge, there is no purpose of that connection. There is just some gossiping, correct? Teacher is not there in the class for some social networking. But if the student wants to know and teacher has a desire to teach, then there is a connection, correct? Then the students will not talk. Everybody is listening to the teacher. But when there is no connection to the teacher, there is no respect for the teacher, there is no love for the teacher, there is no affection for the teacher. As much teachers try, the student is not interested. In fact, I have seen the 45-minute limit is because of that. Then they get headache. But if there is a connection, you can go on for hours. And that's what happens. The class, a student may struggle to hear a class for more than 45 minutes. And in schools, even less, I think. But then they go home, they gossip with a friend for 10 hours till night 2 o'clock. There the 45-minute limit doesn't come. Why? There is a relationship, correct? So what we are looking for not is information. What we are looking for is pleasure in relationships. But what we forget is that the living entity is not matter. It is para. Aparas itastu anyam. This whole material energy made of 8 earth, water, fire, air, ether is what? Apara. Apara itastu anyam. Whatever mentioned till now, itas. Earth, bhumi, apo, anolo, vayu, kham, mano, buddhi, vacha is apara. Aparas itastu anyam. Krishna is saying other than this. It is what? Prakritim vidhi me param. There is superior energy of mind. Jiva bhuta. Jiva. Jiva bhuta. That is the condition it is now in. There is Brahma bhuta. Jiva bhuta. Cigarette bhuta. Different conditions of the living entity. Okay? Jiva bhuta mahabhavo yayedam dharyate jagat. And it actually he is the one which is doing everything in this world. This also is very easy to understand. Just like the Newton law says, everything stays in rest unless it is moved. Moved by whom? The living entity. I do not know. Vedavyasa says that Kali Yuga people are dull-headed. It doesn't take much time to understand. How can energy organize anything? So silly it is. So silly. Even it is against their own law of entropy. Entropy says that in any given closed system, the things will increase in disorder. But they play around, the sun and another gave some energy for it to order. But on its own, it cannot order. It's stupid. You leave this room and you go away. We don't expect this room to be ordered like this. Correct? If we come after 100 years, you see some books will be fallen down. Nothing really arranged the way we did. So because we are seeing that that there is so much order in this world, we cannot agree. From disorder, order came. That's stupid. This explanation looks very serious. Yayedam dharate jagat. It is the living entity which is organizing this world. Isn't it? Just like you go to America, they have applied more time with the metal energy, put more resources, more organized. You see nice roads, nice gardens, so nice. Correct? Here some poor people, some rich people can do. Not everybody can afford. If there is a rich country, the government itself, just like in India, they are trying to make smart cities, and probably Mangalore is going to be one of them. Then you see after 10 years the city will be much more developed because you have put so much. But who did it? Is it that some lightning or explosion did it, or people consciously did it? It's like in front of us the road is now very neatly made up. Was it that there was some volcano and the road has come neatly, or some people did it? Some people did it. So how can the matter be organized without a living entity? Why we are cheating innocent people and why people are getting cheated? Matter cannot be organized without a living entity. Therefore we say, right in the womb, the consciousness is there because matter starts organizing itself. Yeah? There is one cell and then becomes many cells. Each cell has start taking different roles and whole body is formed. In the original, the cells are similar. Then all they start specializing in their different roles and whole thing forms. Living entity has to be there. Matter cannot organize itself without consciousness being present. That's our argument to say the soul is there from the day one, but the soul doesn't manifest its presence. The consciousness doesn't manifest fully. The reason being that its body is not ready. Eyes are not ready, ears are not ready. Slowly it takes around 7 months time for body to be ready to some shape. Then the child becomes conscious according to the Vedic literature, and then he starts off. It's different, prayers to the Lord and different situation, stuck in a dark place. 3 lunar months he waits to come out. In a very difficult condition, the child in the womb. Okay? So when we see, therefore we say another argument that today they are telling the scientists, they do not know there is para, aparas itastu anyam prakriti vidhi me param. They do not know. They teach chemistry, they teach biology, and they think one day we will make DNA. Till there their attempt was stupid attempt. They made some 4 or 5 base pairs and multiplied it. We were using cells, and using cells they combined those multiplications and make the base pair length bigger to make it something like 500,000 base pair or something, and then they put it in another living cell, and the living cell reproduce it. That anything put in the nucleus, it just reproduce. They say we created life. This is the cheating. It was there. Every newspaper we have created life. This is absolute rubbish. Why do you cheat innocent mass of people? They get shaken up. Correct? We are not big. In fact, many big scientists came next day. They said, please don't cheat. They said, this is just genetic engineering. We have not created life. Correct? Some redundant information. There's not even some information for it to be redundant information. It doesn't make any meaning, anything for the cell. Nothing it does based on that. Simply you repeat. And then there are so many components in the cell. There is not one DNA. There are so many DNAs in a nucleus. Even if you could make all the DNAs, even if this is our challenge, you could make the RNA, even that is difficult for you. You can't do it because you are so tiny. Even if you could do even all the material combination, including a cell membrane, the point is this: it will be a dead cell. It will be a dead cell. There is an example given of, because they have forgotten the Jiva Bhuta Mahabaho. They forgot the living entity. Prabhupada gives a very nice example. Prabhupada said, suppose you put honey in a place, an ant come. It doesn't honey produce as ant? Honey produced ant? No. Ant just came to that place because honey was put. In the same way, the example is called Tandula Vrishika Nyaya. The whole attempt of the scientist to produce life from chemicals is called Tandula Vishika Nyaya. It is failure from point 1. How? How do we understand this? Because suppose there is a rice and a lot of scorpions are running out of it. It does not mean the rice produces scorpions. All it means is that some scorpion, mother scorpion came there, laid the eggs and went away. And the baby scorpions, when they were born, okay, what they did? They grew on that rice, they ate the rice, and they came out. Rice did not produce scorpion. It only gave a fertile ground for the eggs to hatch and grow. So similarly, the soul comes to when the body is comfortably ready for its different activities. In fact, for this also sometimes some devotee asks Srila Prabhupada, what if we create all the components and the cell membrane, everything ready? Will the soul come and reside there? Prabhupada got very irritated and he gave a very beautiful answer. He says, soul is not your servant. It's a God servant. Not that you play around. It's a God servant. It's not that you can play around with it. It will come when it needs to. So, Prabhupada had another beautiful argument. He said that better than you big scientists having so-called Nobel Prizes. Any fool gets a Nobel Prize nowadays. Better than that is a mosquito. But a mosquito can produce thousands of mosquitoes. You can't even produce one mosquito. Correct? Mosquito can produce. One pig can produce 2 dozen piglets. But you can't produce one ant. This is your knowledge. So actually, unnecessarily, we have become proud because Loha technology. We know how to bend an iron and we become very proud. I know everything. You don't know everything. You don't even know. Prabhupada says all the knowledge of science has was in the previous shloka. Bhumi apo analo vayu khammano buddhi evacha. That's it. But here is one knowledge which has been given in Bhagavad Gita 5,000 years ago and stands as it is. Stands as it is. No change. No change. That is called knowledge. Prabhupada says, if you say might be, perhaps, must have been, it's not knowledge. We want facts. Correct? And if somebody is looking for facts, he will at that moment reject science immediately because it has no facts with it. Perhaps, must have been, might have been. Actually, what we are doing in science is that we have no understanding how things are happening. But we know, I'll give you an example. Just like, suppose you read the Bhagavad Gita and you have no knowledge of spiritual science. No knowledge. Just like it happened the first time I read. You don't know what is soul, what is God. You don't know anything about spiritual science, different yogas. So you read it like an English book. And you can't understand what it is. But something you can do in it. You know with the percentage the S is coming in this book. You know percentage the T is coming in this book. And you can make an algorithm and use this information. You can predict how many times S will come, T will come. Moment you got one behavior and pattern, you can use this for something. You can predict, no? I know at this point, if I read 100 words, I know S will come on an average 12 times, say. So using that information, you can play around. That's what science is doing. Actually, scientists have no understanding how the material nature is functioning. They do not know why it is functioning in that way. They know this is the result, it functions. And they use that and create so many things. Just like I give you a DVD. I give this example many times. And it is a movie. You want to see a movie. Devotees don't see movie. But I'm just giving an example. We have better things to do. Somebody told you don't watch movie. So we have better things to do. Suppose you give a DVD to him. And then he, instead of trying to understand how the DVD it is recorded, what is his main focus? To watch the movie or to know how the DVD's information is stored? Correct? Very rarely his desire is to know. So what are you doing actually? There are certain patterns, you are using it and getting the information and watching a movie. Even the computer is doing that. Actually what is happening, why it is happening, nobody knows in science. Prabhupada always says, in science, unfortunately, we start somewhere in the middle. We don't go to the end. Just like I gave you the classic example of the joker called Darwin. He wrote on the origin of species as paper. He never explained how the species are formed. To this day, nobody knows. Nobody knows how the species are formed. They have some funny theories. Maybe by an accident in a pond got heated, some chemicals and water started evaporating, and chemicals combined together and life. So they have some funny explanation, which no proof, no evidence. Correct? They have not created life. Nobody has seen it. They have some hypothesis, proposal, some fantasies, some imaginations. That's all. But he wrote a paper on origin of species. But the fact is, he started somewhere in the middle. He did not start from the beginning. And on top of it, he made blunders after blunders. Just like he said that, I see cows you breed, they become better. So therefore, if like this, then new species will come. That's how the new species come. Based on two arguments. Both are wrong. But I'll take one argument today. It's a foolish argument. Cow breeding has been going on for thousands of years. At least 5,000 years ago, cow breeding was going on. Krishna's time, correct? It is going on for thousands of years. Cows have remained cows. We've not seen cow has given birth to a dog, correct? They will say, no, you look for millions of years. I have not seen millions of years. You have not seen millions of years. I'm not going to accept your proposal. Correct? You're not seen. I think 5,000 years you have some record. And Vedas, which have all the record for all the time, say no. It is not evolution, it is devolution. Brahma is the one responsible for creation of all the species. It does not, from chemicals on their own, have no creative capacity. Prabhupada used to say, matter has no creative capacity. And oxygen is not thinking, let me go to the other room, combine in hydrogen and form something. It's nonsense it is. Correct? If you have a mridanga in this room, the mridanga is not thinking, let me go and then combine is something and then this will have. No, sir. It has no creative capacity. If creation, just like Prabhupada says, very simple argument, you have hydrogen, here is oxygen, who mix the two? If suppose in a chemistry lab you have hydrogen in one bottle, oxygen in one bottle, somebody has to come and mix it. For millions of years, it will lie like that only otherwise. Correct? It will not happen. Nothing will happen. Any system in inertia continues to be in inertia unless moved by a living entity. Yayedam dharate jagat. And actually the living entity only give a meaning to this world. Imagine a city where nobody is there, only some buildings are there, and I go there, you'll get bored there. Correct? Living entity only make a meaning in this world. They try. Actually living entity is Sachidananda. It is looking for eternity, it is looking for happiness, it is looking for knowledge. Therefore, the world is moving. Therefore, the world is moving. There is no other reason the world is moving today. Yayedam dharate jagat. So, therefore, this formation of Krishna. Now, you say, sometimes we joke, first you should give Nobel Prize to Krishna. Now, Krishna doesn't need your certificates, but for your own purification, first they should give. Because this much knowledge they don't have. After their so-called 300 years of science, this knowledge they don't have, that we are not the body, we are spirit, soul. And they call themselves this. And Krishna is beginning here. Krishna defined, he said in the second chapter also, but now he's explaining systematically that actually their material energy constitutes of his 8 divisions. Bhumi, Apo, Anulo, Vayu, Kam, Mano, Buddhi, Evacha. 5 gross, 3 subtle. That's it. Nothing more. And this 8, yesterday I explained how they can be divided into 24. That's it. Apart from this, there is information about soul. Another dimension. Okay? Aparas itestu anyam prakriti viddhi me param jiva bhuta mahabhavo yayedam dharate jagat. Srila Prabhupada ki, Bhagavad Gita ki.